What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. With me on the show tonight, local drifter Juan Burrell. Tell us how you were introduced to the sport of drifting.
Well, I guess it starts back as I was young. I was watching D1, which is a drift competition in Japan. Also, my dad was showing me about videos of drifting. Also, I was watching, I heard about Formula D at a young age. I was basically middle school when I heard about it. Uh, from there, kind of waited and kept working on cars. I was at a real young age, kicked back with a lot of older people, worked on cars from there and started to pick it up once I got I guess once I was tall enough to fit into a car and reach everything.
And what kind of car are you currently driving?
I am currently driving a '03 Nissan 350Z.
What makes a good drifting car? Is it the suspension, engine?
Well, for me, I don't think power is all you need. Angle two is not all that you need. It's just more of I would say just dialing in suspension, having a good coilover setup, uh, stiffening up or softening up the rear, stiffening up the front. Having a welded rear end makes things a lot easier. But for me, yeah, my Z is basically a stock Z. Doesn't have no heavy aftermarket parts, just an intake manifold piece. Other than that, it's all dialed in with suspension stiffening.
I remember a few years ago taking a ride with one of the Japanese pro drifters. It was crazy. The only thing I could do was hang on. And the only thing I heard was the sound of the tires screeching. But out there on the track, what's going on in your mind when you're taking those turns around the cones?
Well, basically for me, it's more of like just making sure I'm not gonna hit the guy that's in front of me. Uh, I'm a guy that likes to be consistent, so I'm always trying to get closer to the guy. I'm Once you kind of build the skill of just the driving of how it's supposed to be, you're kind of just now focusing on the guy driving in front of you. You don't really pay attention to your own driving. You pay attention to the guy driving in front of you.
And how's the competition in the drifting community? I'm sure everyone's pretty familiar with one another. And, these competitions, you hear a lot of the same names.
Mhm. The drifting community, it's really good. It goes up and down. It's kind of like I say the survival of the fittest kind of thing. Most times that I mean, like we have a lot of good drivers here on Guam. Most of it is just that once their car breaks down, it becomes down a money issue. Just kind of getting it back up. And when they do get it back up, it's once it breaks again, they're kind of kicked back out. So it's kind of like surviving the car, maintaining the car just to stay into the competition.
Is the sport of drifting like golf? It gets pretty pricey with the things you do.
Honestly, a lot of people do think it is a pricey thing, but like I said, I'm in a stock 350Z. These are now becoming fairly, affordable. It doesn't become expensive unless you make it expensive. You can come out there with like a stock FRS or a stock 240SX, which we have, and how I started as well. Um, and you can just kind of just weld the rear and even go there with stock suspension and just kind of shred the track. Uh, it helps. It just makes it, as long as you keep it simple, you'll be good to go on the track. Nothing too crazy.
And what are the tires like? Specific tires you guys use?
Honestly, in the beginning, or even for most times, even till now, we just use what we can find. In the drift community, I'm kind of the guy that helps everyone get tires. Like I said, when people start, I just tell them like, "Hey, man, don't think too much about having to buy tires." I do get tires from places, or I talk to some people that are willing to like get rid of tires for really cheap. I sell them to the community really cheap, as low as $20, 25, and that's just to cover my gas to go and bring it to you or bring it home. Yeah, it's more, the community is really humbled together with everyone. We're a big team. That's basically what it is.
Smoking Wheels is always a big event for your sport. Missing out on this year's
Mhm.
competition, how does events like that help with the sport of drifting?
It helps a lot, especially competing against off island people. Uh, you build you build that big increasement of your skill. You kind of push yourself. You want to go against the Japanese drivers. You want to go against the Philippine drivers or anyone that comes to Guam to compete against us. Uh, it it helps a big time, especially when you're doing good. You know, of course, a lot of people tend to know your name. It helps put Guam on the map. You got to thank Tom for that kind of thing, Tom Makagami, for bringing the people in from off island and making it happen. It's a big help, truly is.
And reaching out, and when you race against the Japanese and Philippine drivers, you also get a chance to look at their cars and see what they're running and how their setup is.
Yeah, true, true. Just like me, last year I started actually getting my FIA license for competing in the Philippines. So I built a car out there and started competing professionally. Even as well as here, I was competing under CTD, commercial tire. Uh, it really helps, to build. You kind of want to push yourself to get higher and higher and higher. And that all started from smoking wheels, is how I see it.